The Absa Cape Epic is the untamed African mountain bike race. An 8-day odyssey, taking in 681 rugged kilometers, with 16,900 arduous meters of climbing. Crisscrossing South Africa's Western Cape province, it takes on high mountains, windswept plains, dual tracks, district roads and scintillating single track. It is brutal and beautiful by turns. The sternest tests of man, woman and machine. Undertaken in teams of 2, it demands cooperation and rewards the well-prepared. Trails flow through pristine fynbos. Conquered summits provide panoramic vistas. Camaraderie develops as the week progresses. Rivals become friends. This is why it is the race that measures all. All of this and more were exemplified by the 2022 race. Partnerships were tested to the limit. Punctures, mechanicals and illness all played their part. But before the race, the sport's biggest names were dreaming of trouble-free rides. Even 9-time world champion and double Absa Cape Epic winner Nino Schurter was a touch optimistic.
Ja, das ist der Lars Forster.
Yes, this is Lars Forster, reigning European cross-country champion for the second time. Already the 4th year where we are now together in the team. And yes, the Absa Cape Epic we have won together in 2019. And this is now our second attempt. And we have big plans again and look forward to the upcoming Cape Epic.
Und freut uns aufs bevorstehende Cape Epic.
Ja, wie gesagt, eben, es ist eines der grössten Rennen. Und,
yes, as I've said before, it's one of the biggest races. And so far I've taken part once and won once, which is a good record. And that's why I'm looking forward to my second start at the Epic. We had a great time with the team last time. It's such a small adventure. We are on the road together, sleep in the camper, and are a week pretty after each other, the whole team, and that's a very cool adventure and a huge race, yes.
Miteinander, das ganze Team, und das ist ein sehr cooles Abenteuer und ein riesengroßes Rennen, ja.
The defending champion Matt Beers and one of the main contenders, the reigning world marathon champion, were ready for an epic showdown.
Way too short, I think. I couldn't, bask in the glory for too long, for a whole year, but hey, it's cool because the hype has stayed really high, obviously, and being the second South African has been quite almost like a responsibility, it feels, but good pressure, and I've really been astounded by the amount of support I've received. It's been pretty special.
Ja, am wahrscheinlichsten ist natürlich mit den letzten.
Yes, the most likely teams are of course the last 2 winners, Specialized and Sram. Also a new team from Germany, Speed Company Racing, I have on the bill. I think they are super motivated.
Die, denke ich, super motiviert sind.
With the battle lines drawn, the route was the next point of focus. Totaling 681 kilometers in length with 16,900 meters of climbing, it was said to be one of the hardest Absa Cape Epics in recent history. Taking in the mountain biking meccas of Lawrenceford, Greyton and Stellenbosch, it features a mix of action-packed single-track filled stages and monster marathon transition days. The top teams rolled off the Lawrenceford start ramp for their 24-kilometer time trial. Earlier starters had proved that the hour mark would be tough to beat, yet Speed Company Racing lived up to Andreas Servalt's billing as dark horses to watch. The debutants were the first team to dip under 60 minutes. Servalt and his Canyon Northwave teammate Martin Storsek were 25 seconds slower, but the marathon and stage race specialists were more than satisfied with their efforts. Less so with the Sram combination. Schurter punctured within the first 6 kilometers and lost nearly 4 minutes plugging and reinflating the tyre. As a safety precaution, and with the 9-time world champion's rear wheel losing air, he stormed up the climb to the tech zone, while Forster paced his effort to remain below his threshold for the madcap dash through the second half of the stage. Despite battling back as best they could, the Swiss team still lost 4 minutes and 39 seconds to the stage winners. The men who set the fastest time on the day were the Toyota 91 Specialized team of Beers and short track world champion Chris Blevins. Their time of 58 minutes and 6 seconds was 40 seconds faster than Speed Company Racing's and augured well for the week ahead. Yet Beers was conscious that the Absa Cape Epic cannot be won on the Prologue.
Hey, it's nice to have the jersey, but it's a long race, we all know that, but this is a huge confidence boost, and our team works super hard and all the sponsors and everything, and to give this back on the Prologue I think is pretty special.
the defending champion and his new partner in yellow, the race had started perfectly for South African fans. But Beers' fortunes were about to turn. Stage 1 proved exceptionally challenging for everyone in the race. And the world's best mountain bikers were not immune from the travails, the heat and the arduous course inflicted. Scott SRAM had reassessed their race plans and had targeted the day's second major climb as the point at which to attack. Unfortunately for them, as they were about to launch their move, Schurter and Georg Egger punctured. While the Speed Company racing team managed to get back up and riding, their chase up the saddle cost them dearly. Scott SRAM, though, had to wait for their support team of Andriy Frischnecht and Yuri Ragnoli to supply them with a replacement wheel. Once again, Schurter and Foster lost over 4 minutes. Up the trail, Beers was beginning to struggle. Sensing their moment, Canyon Northwave attacked with Buff Megamo's Hans Becking and Jose Diaz. Initially, the South African was able to counter with Blevins and the American's friend from the Santa Cruz team, Keegan Swenson. But as the chase wore on, Swenson and Maxime Marot began to distance Beers and Blevins too. The trails were littered with teams as chaos reigned. Energy saved or expended on the saddle allowed or limited riders' abilities to pursue Seerwald and Stosek. Becking and Diaz faded. William Pirelli's Fabian Rabensteiner and Wout Allemann surged on, while Schurter and Forster fought to make up time before conceding that it would not be their day. All the while, Canyon Northwave extended their advantage, eventually winning the stage by a commanding 3 minutes and 23 seconds over Buff Megamo. The result put them comfortably in yellow, 5 minutes ahead of Becking and Diaz.
It was a nice feeling. You know, like I finished the last epic like this, winning the stage, and then I had the health issues and then I had to quit the epic. So today was like the feelings came back, but I really enjoyed it and it's a big satisfaction for me to have a stage again, and then the yellow jersey is something really special. I think it's let's say it's a part of the dream coming through because yeah, really that's what we came for, to fight for the best positions.
For the man who conceded the yellow jersey along with 9 minutes, the only option was to keep fighting.
I'm extremely disappointed and I feel like I've let down SA and the team, so I need to get my shit together and start harden up, put some cement in my breakfast for the rest of the epic.
Beers' issues left Toyota 91 Specialized in 7th on the general classification, 8 minutes and 14 seconds down on Seerwald and Stosek. Schurter and Foster were a position and 41 seconds worse off, while Speed Company Racing's Egger and Lucas Baum were flying under the radar in 4th at 6:10 behind Canyon Northway. The 123-kilometre long route from Lawrenceford to Elandskloof near Greyton appeared on paper to suit the new race leaders best. Yet Stosek's experience of falling ill after winning a stage on the 2021 race left them understandably trepidatious about going on the offensive on stage 2 in 2022. Canyon Northwave's hesitation, coupled with a howling headwind, limited everyone save Scott SRAM's attacking instincts. Having summited the Gantu Pass portage in a strung-out group, the leading teams flew through the Oak Valley and Paul Kluwer single tracks on the Elgin Plateau. But where the trails through the Fynbos plantations, vineyards and orchards had been protected from the wind, in the Overberg on the Van der Stel Pass, the southeaster was blowing a near gale. Somehow, Schurter and Urs Huber of Team Bulls still forced a break, setting Schurter and Forster up for an attack on Jacques' climb. The Swiss pair attacked, riding their rivals from their wheels, and ascended to a 2-minute lead by the time they summited. Again though, flat tyres blighted the Scott SRAM team. Schurter was forced to stop to repair his third pivotal puncture of the race. This allowed the chasers, Canyon Northwave, Toyota 91 Specialized and Buff Megamo, to regain contact. But with the wind and terrain nullifying any further opportunities to force a decisive split, the day came down to a sprint finish. Yes, it's definitely good. We've made up a few places. We are now 5th overall and slowly making our way back in the right direction. But of course, we hope for more in the coming days. Stage 3 was the first of 2 which explored the trails of Greyton. It was also the second consecutive day over 100 kilometres in distance, and as such, there was significant time to be made or lost. Having conceded 2 minutes to the yellow jerseys the day before, Speed Company Racing were not considered a major risk, despite starting the day in 4th, 8 minutes and 10 seconds off the pace. Sierwold and Stosik were focused rather on Toyota 91 Specialized and Scott SRAM. In hindsight, this proved to be the wrong decision.
Ja, es war definitiv ein harter Tag irgendwie.
Yes, it's definitely been a tough day. A fast start, and Lars kind of got off on the wrong foot and had a tough day, and we couldn't keep up with the best today. That's probably it for the overall ranking, but now we hope he recovers well and maybe we can go for another stage win. While Forster struggled and Schurter nursed him through the stage, the Speed Company Racing team struck. Egger and Baum had been racing a la Zubeldia, conceding time, then launching a long-range break to leapfrog spectacularly up the general classification. It was only late in the stage that Sierwold, Stosek, Beers and Blevins realised the danger the men up the road posed. But try as they might, they could not reel Speed Company Racing in. I can't even realise it yet, so I'm just happy that it worked out. For 3 days we've been hoping for the day when we'll both be in top shape, and it went just perfectly. Yes, it's unbelievable. When you think about what setup we have only one support staff member with us. Others have a huge tent here and a huge support crew. We take care of our bikes on our own. 4 weeks ago we didn't think we would take part at all, and now we're here and we're winning the stage, and when looking at the GC, maybe we've moved up here a bit as well. Baum and Egger's stage win began a fairy tale of sorts. A story of mountain biking redemption. Baum had been a junior world champion but became disillusioned with the sport. He only returned to racing upon Egger's assertion that they could start their own team and achieve something remarkable. Their very participation at the Absa Cape Epic was only confirmed at the last minute and on a shoestring budget.
Also wir fahren schon zusammen Rennen, seitdem wir
So we've been racing together since we were 13, 14 or 15, so half an eternity already, and have never been in a team together since then. We've always raced against each other. We've always been best friends, but we've never been in a racing team together. Sure, we are fundamentally different in many things, but then we function together like in a relationship. That makes it somehow good. Speed Company Racing were not in South Africa to make up numbers. They came to the Absa Cape Epic to contest the victory. In the end, every top team wants to win here. I mean, before the race, everyone makes the announcement that I'm going for the win here and there, and many teams. Every top team may want to win, but there can only be one champion. With Speed Company Racing announcing their intentions and Scott SRAM conceding more time, only 3 teams were in with a realistic chance heading into the second half of the race. They were the leaders, Canyon Northwave, Toyota 91 Specialized, and the race's new protagonists. Once again, the Speed Company Racing squad went on the offensive. Having learned from the mistake of the previous day, the men in yellow were more attentive on stage 4. Initially, they pursued Egger and Baum with Beers and Blevins, as well as the Buff Megamo and Scott Calabandida teams. But as the chase intensified and the group strung out, a crash by Francesc Guerra Carretero put Scott Calabandida out of the chase for good. On the undulating roads through the barren wheat fields, on the run into the UFO climb, the top 3 teams came together again. First, Toyota 91 Specialized reeled in Speed Company Racing. Then a few kilometers later, Canyon Northwave joined the group. Despite the steepness of the ascent and the technicality of the descent, UFO did not split the top 3 teams. Somewhat mysteriously, the rolling roads leading back to Jyllandskloof did though, but not in a way anyone would have expected. Beers and Sierwold slipped off the front, continued to drive on as the cat and mouse game of positioning unfolded behind them, and then watched the XCC world champion Blevins sprint to victory. Yes, the finish was pretty cool today. I could enjoy it directly and let it roll out easily. And then watch the real finish as a spectator, and I'm happy that we came second. Because if I would have had to sprint, then we probably would not have become the second. So then we would have been third.
Wenn ich sprinten hätte müssen, dann wäre es wahrscheinlich nicht der Zweite geworden. Also wäre es Dritter geworden.
You know, it's not over until it's over, and obviously, you know, we still have some time to crawl back on GC, but we're going to do everything we can to try to win this thing.
Away from the sharp end of the race, two men who had long been fierce rivals were racing the 2022 Absa Cape Epic together.
Das ist der Karl Platt. Wir fahren schon,
This is Karl Platt. We've been racing against each other for a long time. Maybe that'll change now, a little bit with each other. But maybe we are the fastest when we race against each other. Between them, Karl Platt and Christoph Sauser hold 10 titles. On just 3 occasions, from the first edition of the race in 2004 to Platt's final elite victory in 2016, did the final Absa Cape Epic podium not feature one of the two legends on the top step. At 44 and 45 years of age, they had both been eligible for the NTT Masters category for a number of years, but had still been pursuing elite racing, until Platt's 2021 age group assault on the race that measures all. Teaming up, the Songo 91 Epic legends rode in support of Sauser's education and sporting charity Songo.info, but they also had a fantastic time reminiscing about their battles in years gone by. Of course, we talk about old times quite a lot, I must say. In the race, when we have a quiet second, we reminisce about cool things from the past or what we used to do.
Yes, super cool to ride with Carl.
We're on the same level. We had to get through so many thousands of corners, through so many millions of stones. You can see that we have the experience. We didn't have a single defect or crash or a small fall. It's been super cool with him, and of course, it's very different to race with him than against him before, and maybe we'll do it again together. Yeah, 5 Cape Epics I won, and now 6th in the Masters together with my biggest rival. Now we both have 6 titles. It feels really super cool. With 6 titles each, the battle between Platt and Sauser could well continue in 2023 if they don't team up once more. But as they edge closer to Bart Brenchens' record of 8 Absa Cape Epic category victories, their competitive instincts are sure to ignite. And when they do, mountain biking fans are in for a treat. Going into the business end of the race, the men's general classification did not appear at first glance to be finely poised. But Canyon Northwave's lead of 4 minutes and 48 seconds over Speed Company Racing was more delicate in reality than it was on paper. Toyota 91 Specialized in third was still in contention to overturn their 6-minute 50-second deficit too. The second longest stage of the race also provided the terrain for long-range attacks, which Egger and Baum exploited. Charging off the front in an audacious long-range move, Egger and Baum rapidly built up a 2-minute lead. Unfortunately for them, while racing head down and flat out, they missed a route marker, turning right when they should have carried on straight ahead. By the time they rectified their error, they had conceded their advantage and another 2 minutes. This left them with a headlong chase back to the group. Having surprised the leaders by rejoining the group from behind, the Speed Company Racing team reset their aspirations and only attacked again when the race reached Franschhoek. This time, Beers and Blevins were able to shut the move down. But as the group came back together and lulled, Ibuko Type Dev seized the initiative. Peter de Toy swept left as Marco Hubert ranged right in a perfect pincer movement. Nobody surged to close the gap, and the South Africans were away, racing on through the Berg River Dam and Ludus Magnus trails to build a commanding lead. By the time the pace behind increased as Toyota 91 Specialized and Canyon Northwave looked to exploit Speed Company Racing's fatigue, the men in the red Absa African jerseys had enough of a buffer.
I thought a podium would be great, but yeah, to just go straight to a win is awesome. And I think we moved to 5th in GC. That was our goal, like the African jersey, and to get 5th on GC. So I guess now, I don't know, maybe we'll go for more stages.
There were only 2 opportunities for stage wins left in the race though, and a number of big teams had yet to win even one. This set up the final weekend for a dramatic battle between the stage hunters and general classification hopefuls. Going into the penultimate stage, Canyon Northwave led, but the race was taking its toll. Nervousness is rising now. I also suffered a few bruises, so just defend somehow. Like a shark sensing blood in the water, Baum seemed to know stage 6 would be his and Egger's day. We have to make sure that we get time back where we can, attack again where we can, and somehow straighten out yesterday's mishap. Having flown up and over the Botmaskop climb and down into the Bannock Valley, the pace at the front was frenetic from the off. William Pirelli were among the stage hunters as Rabenstein and Alleman had started the day 50 minutes off the overall lead. While they were racing full gas, Stosek was blocking the trail to stop Speed Company Racing from attacking. This gave Schurter and Blevins the time to showcase their skills on the Bannock berms. Beers and Blevins drove the tempo through the Bannock Valley, which brought William Pirelli back to the lead group. But with their support team of Daniel Gesmeyer and Cameron Orr in contention for the first time in the race, Ravenstein and Alleman still had cards to play, which they did when the race headed uphill again, ascending away from the group with Speed Company Racing in tow. Whether by design or simply by the strength of their legs, the Italian and Belgian national marathon champions were then able to distance Egger and Baum. Though it looked like the Germans may be paying for their aggressive riding styles, the true carnage was further down the trail. Seerwold was having issues with a rib he bruised on stage 1. The world marathon champion was clearly in a bad way. Ahead, Beers was also slowing. Perhaps the South African had never fully recovered from what had ailed him early in the race too. With the general classification teams fighting for survival, William Pirelli could race to stage honours.
Yeah, also it's my first Cape Epic, so it was already a dream coming true to just be here and then to win the stage. It's unreal for me, I cannot describe at the moment.
Speed Company Racing finished second, but vitally managed to take over 4 minutes off Canyon Northwave's overall lead. Seerwold and Stosek's lead was still 2 minutes and 45 seconds with 1 day to race, however, and they were relatively confident ahead of stage 7.
I don't know how to say, maybe like everything, it would be the highlight of the career at least, so that's something really you can dream of, and if it happens, it will be one of the best days, I think. I would not say more than for today or yesterday. Of course, the finish is getting closer and closer, but we try to focus for every stage, and tomorrow will be the same.
Val de Vie may have been getting closer, but Seerwold's powers were waning, and Speed Company Racing were going all in, fighting to become the first team to seize yellow on the final stage. We definitely want to make up the 2 minutes 45 today. I think that's realistic. Today is a flat stage with lots of short, small walls. We're very strong in that, and then we'll go full throttle today. Virtually from the gun, Egger and Baum were on the attack. Initially, they were joined by 3 stage hunting teams, but William Pirelli had burned too many matches on stage 6. Rabenstein and Alleman faded first, leaving Scott's Ram and Santa Cruz chasing stage honours with a trophy hunting Speed Company Racing. Despite losing time, the mood in the chase group was not one of panic. Seerwold, Stosek, Beers and Blevins were pacing their efforts as best they could after 7 long days on the bike. Surely, they seemed to be thinking, there could be no way anybody could go much faster than this. How wrong they were. Despite distancing Swenson and Marot and losing the firepower of Schurter to his 10th puncture of the race, Egger and Baum time-trialled on. Powering across the Berg River and through the grounds of Val de Vie, they maximised every possible pedal stroke. Even upon crossing the finish line, there was no room for celebrations. Stage victory was a distraction. Only the overall mattered. 2 agonising minutes and 45 painful seconds ticked away slowly before Egger and Baum's celebrations could begin.
Keine Ahnung, ey. Bin immer noch ein bisschen geschockt.
Oh, I don't know. I'm still in a bit of shock. I just said it. Almost 10 years ago, I became junior world champion here in Pietermaritzburg. So I don't know, maybe I'm made to race in South Africa. I'm just happy, together with Georg here, to have shot the thing down, with the possibilities we have, with the financial background we had before. To take part in it at all was an achievement, and now to win is amazing.
Überhaupt daran teilzunehmen war eine Leistung und jetzt auch noch zu gewinnen, das ist abartig. Also, keine Ahnung, ey. Bin geschockt.
Huge, giant, dream that comes true to win the race together with my best buddy is off the charts, unbelievable.
Ja, ich meine, ja, das Cape Epic ist echt
Yes, I mean the Cape Epic is the biggest race ever. If you win that, it's definitely the biggest sporting success. While Egger and Baum were elated, Canyon North Wave were understandably deflated.
Let's say maybe it would be too easy to win the first time. So now we have still the goal in front. So we will definitely look forward to the next years to come back and fight again and enjoy the race as much as we did this year, because for me it was first time I raced it, I finished it, and I see the Val de Vie at its best with the people, with the crowd.
Speed Company Racing's miraculous ride through the final stage saw them winning by 3 minutes and 2 seconds over Canyon North Wave. Toyota 91 Specialized completed the general classification podium. Thus, the most dramatic final day of an Absa Cape Epic concluded, with popular winners being crowned and vanquished former leaders looking ahead to 2023.
I mean, we have to be back for it's the biggest race in the world.
The biggest race in the world, staged in sunny South Africa, contested by the creme of the mountain biking crop, local and international alike, and won by the most unlikely of teams, an unknown combination from Germany. Best friends whose lives changed when they raised the untamed trophy above their heads. Whatever else Georg Egger and Lucas Baum achieve in the rest of their mountain biking careers, they will forever remain Absa Cape Epic winners. Their place in the Book of Legend is assured.